What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Raid Report. As always, I'm Spencer Grzywacz, and I'm joined by the wonderful Leigh Waldman.
Hello.
And we actually have a really hot show for you. We have an awesome guest, a personal friend of Leigh's, Betsy Blaney, will be joining us on the show. She's an Associated Press reporter. She's also played some professional tennis, so we're really excited to be joined by her. But first things first, I have to I guess, pay my dues on the bet that I lost last week with the predictions as I got
Thank you all for voting,
destroyed.
by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for voting on Twitter. But here it is. That is...
He probably should have shaved a little bit to clean it all up, but I still think Spencer looks great.
Yeah.
That's a look you should rock during the summertime.
I don't think I will ever wear a bikini ever again. It was pretty traumatic, actually. It was...
For all of us here in the studio.
That's the biggest smile you're going to get out of me with that. Yeah, that was...
I think it's fitting.
Yeah. But down to business, we have some big stories to talk about. So Leigh, you want to take us away?
Let's go. Okay, so with the Oklahoma City Thunder's dynamic duo broken up, Russell Westbrook is looking for a new partner in crime. He might have found him in Victor Oladipo. At a press interview, he told a reporter on nights that he can't sleep, he calls his Russ to sing him to sleep. The two are at the start of a beautiful bromance.
I'm going to call you one night like, hey Leigh, I'm struggling to sleep. What kind of tunes you got for me? And I'm hoping you can sing something.
I will not answer.
Okay, all right. Anyways, in other news, Kevin Garnett, the 15-time All-Star, decided to punch his own ticket and call it quits after a 21-year career. He began the new chapter of his life by posting a picture of himself smoking a cigar on Instagram. So congrats to the great career, KG, or you will be missed.
And Michael Jordan might have found his biggest fan in Irene Liao. When Irene was just in 3rd grade, she found a life-size cardboard cutout of Michael Jordan and carried him with her everywhere. Growing up in Taiwan, Irene saw a Gatorade commercial featuring Michael Jordan, and that's when the girl's obsession began. She even took the cutout to her piano lessons and even wrote him a song.
Maybe her and Victor and Russell Westbrook could all get together.
I think so.
David Ortiz's final season is coming to an end after playoffs, and the Baltimore Orioles gifted him an exact replica of the phone he smashed in their visitors' dugout. After striking out, Ortiz smashed the dugout phone. He had some heated words with the umpires. He got ejected. But in his defense, it was an old phone, you know, one of those old plug-in phones. It probably deserved it. You know, if you're not wireless anymore, then what are you doing, right?
Exactly.
21st century.
Come on in. So the Oregon Ducks will dress like actual ducks. In 1992, the Mighty Ducks was released in theaters everywhere. And in 2016, the Oregon Ducks looked at it and said, yeah, that's a great look. And that went from there. This week, the Ducks took to the field in what may have been the mascot mode from the NCAA football when they donned the uniforms with bright orange face masks and cleats. The choice was part of the Once a Duck, Always a Duck initiative meant to spread awareness of the Oregon Duck traditions.
I love ducks.
I do too. I like to go feed them at the park.
Like little piece of bread. My mom used to take me. Yeah, it's a great time. The Les Miles firing. After 12 seasons with the Tigers, head coach Les Miles was released this week after a disappointing loss to Auburn. Amazingly, his response so far has been, whatever. Unfortunately for LSU, they fired Miles without realizing the only available coach is dealing with a small scandal right now. That would be Art Briles. But, you know, I personally would love to see Les Miles come on maybe as a defensive consultant or something maybe for Texas Tech this season or next season.
I think anything would help us at this point.
Yeah, he could take a few years off and come over and maybe help Tech out. We could sure use the help on defense. So
great.
So since the Chicago Cubs, now this is a new segment we're doing. It's kind of a throwback Thursday. Since the Chicago Cubs are doing really well this season, we're going to basically throw back to things that were popular since Chicago has last won the World Series, which was 1906. Correct me if I'm wrong on Twitter.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. So to start us off, the Titanic was built and sunk and became the inspiration for the sappiest movie of all time. Unfortunately, Leo did not win an Oscar for that, but he just won one, so...
He should have won one for that, if we're being completely honest. Also, Alaska, Arizona, Hawaii, New Mexico, and sadly, Oklahoma were added to the Union. I feel like the only reason you should ever go to Oklahoma, though, is to go to Choctaw.
Yeah, I agree with that. Alcohol became illegal, then it didn't. Go alcohol. We do not condone underage drinking by any means, but go alcohol.
Yeah. The Cowboys won a playoff game, and actually several playoff games and a couple championships. And speaking of the Cowboys, they didn't even exist when the Cubs won the World Series. Jerry Jones wasn't even born yet. He looks like the Emperor from Star Wars.
He kind of does like that Sith Lord look. He kind of does.
Yeah, kind of a little creepy.
Larry King was born. For those of you who don't know who that is, that's the guy that looks like the skeleton in the wheelchair from SpongeBob. He used to interview famous people on CNN. He was a very renowned reporter on CNN. You would know more about that since you interned at CNN.
He did, yeah.
But
we do have several pictures of him at that building.
yeah.
So, only 50,000 American people are still alive that were alive whenever the Cubs won the World Series. So,
It's not many people.
that's not.
Radio and TV didn't even exist until after they won the World Series. MySpace didn't exist, Facebook didn't exist, and of course, my favorite app, Tinder, didn't even exist, so Cubs fans couldn't even find that special someone to share in their misery with. So,
How
what are you going to
unfortunate.
do without Tinder?
That's so sad. Well, speaking of the internet, that didn't exist either until after they won the World Series. In fact, the modern computer wasn't even thought of until 1936. So not only did they not have the World Series wins records, but the Cubs couldn't even keep a digital record of all their failures.
They actually had to write it down on paper. Can you believe that? I can't imagine taking notes on paper in class anymore, so
Yeah,
everything's typed, right?
Everything's typed.
Amazingly, though, here are some things that could have been around since the Cubs last won the World Series. Sliced bread, the English language,
Ah, yes, that's a good
the
one.
King James translation of the Bible,
Very
the
old.
actual sport of baseball. That's pretty old, you know.
Wow.
And the wheel. So, you know, modern technology, the wheel.
Greatest thing ever.
Absolutely. So that will do it for our Throwback Thursday segment. We are really excited about Act 2, though. We have predictions coming up. We have
And our special guest is coming on.
Yeah, Betsy Blaney will be on, and another bet coming up for our predictions, so stay with us.
Okay, and welcome back. So just a little recap from last week. I don't know if you guys remember, but we had predictions. And of course, yours truly won 4-1, and Spencer lost 2-3. Very sad for him, and that looks like we're gonna have a repeat this week.
It's actually only the second time on this show's history that I've ever lost predictions. Lost to GP once, and now I've lost to you. So
It's a new season. That means you're gonna lose a lot more.
I'm 0-1 on the season in our predictions technically. So you know, comparing. Anyways, we'll move on. Sorry.
We're gonna have
Sorry, enough
another
about
Twitter
me.
poll for you guys to vote on. And what the stakes are this week, either the loser is gonna have a raw egg cracked on their head, or
They will have to. The winner will dye the loser's hair a certain color
for an entire day. Temporary dye.
for a day.
Disclaimer.
Not necessarily for the show, but just for a day, right? Of any day.
Yes.
Now we'll have to get footage of it, obviously, to put on the show. But that counts class, right? If you have to go to class.
That
like
counts
that.
everything you have to do for that day.
Yeah.
So be prepared, Spencer.
All
Bright
right.
pink for him. So our first predictions for this week, we are going to be looking at Wisconsin versus Michigan. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so I'm going with Michigan here. Big Jim Harbaugh fan. I legit think he's one of the top 3 coaches in the sport of football. Big Jim Harbaugh fan. Definitely going with Michigan here.
Okay, I'm actually going to have to agree with you there. I'm going to go with the Michigan Wolverines because they're ranked number 4 this year. They've just been really strong. I really just see the trend continue. I don't think Wisconsin.
Betsy doesn't like our picks right now.
Betsy does not like our picks. She's giving us a big thumbs down. Sorry, Betsy. Next one.
All right, so next up we have Clemson versus Louisville. What do you have, Leigh?
I am actually taking Louisville. They dominated FSU last week, so and they're also number 3 ranked. I just see them going up from here.
Yeah, they have Lamar Jackson, who is right now in the front running for the Heisman race. I will actually agree with you again. You know, never pick against the winner. You know, once somebody's beat you, you try to stay with them, right? So I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson. Louisville will beat Clemson. Actually, that'll be a closer game than people realize. Clemson's a good football team.
They
but,
really are, yeah.
I think Louisville just seems so good this year.
They do. They seem very strong. Our next one we're going to be looking at is Oklahoma versus TCU. Spencer, what do you got?
I'm going Oklahoma here. Now I know Oklahoma's 1-2, and I know that doesn't
Betsy
sound.
agrees. Boo.
There's a lot of Tech fans out there that are going to give me a rough time for this, but I think Oklahoma is a good enough team to still go and win the Big 12. They're not going to make a playoff. I don't think a Big 12 team makes a playoff, but Oklahoma is a good enough team to still go win the Big 12. Clean slate going into Big 12 play. They have TCU coming up, who has started very slowly this season. I'm not the biggest Kenny Hill supporter, so I think Oklahoma will come in and beat TCU.
I am going to disagree with Spencer there. Texans have to stick together no matter what. I'm going for TCU, and that's just because, I think Oklahoma is losing their motivation because they've lost some recently. So I think we're just going to continue that downward motion for them. And also, TCU right now is leading the Big 12 with 14 sacks. So.
Yeah, well, I would love for Baker Mayfield to get sacked as much as possible,
exactly.
But I still think Oklahoma comes out with the win. So next up, we have Tennessee versus Houston. Now we're moved on to NFL here. Okay, so this is Titans versus the Texans, battle of the T's. Who do you have here actually?
I have Houston. Now, that really pains me to say, as everyone knows. I do not like the Houston Texans. They're an overgrown peewee team. However, just Tennessee has not been good this year. They've not been playing as strongly as they can. So I'm going to have to go with Houston.
So I came into this show and I had Houston picked, but upon further evaluation, my twin Marcus Mariota out there, quarterback in the Titans, I think I'm going to go with Tennessee on this one. Houston just recently off of their shutout, or where they got shut out against New England. I don't know, gut feeling, I'm going with my gut. I think Tennessee wins this one.
Well, if he plays like you do in intramural football, I'm going to win this prediction. So up next, we have Dallas versus San Francisco.
My heart hurts right now. We're 1-1. My heart hurts.
It's a jab.
Dallas versus San Francisco. How about them Cowboys? Going
How
Cowboys.
about them Cowboys?
Now, disclaimer: Des Bryant, word is hairline fracture on his knee. Don't know what's going to happen there, but I'm slowly becoming a believer in Dak Prescott. I don't think San Francisco is a very good team. Big family rivalry there with San Francisco versus the Cowboys in the midst of my family. Have to go Cowboys. Cowboys are going to win it.
I am a diehard Cowboys fan. I don't care if they lose every single game. I'm always going to predict that they will win. So I'm going Dallas this week as well.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Perfect. So now I think we're about to be joined by the one and only Betsy Blaney.
Yes,
so
we
she
are.
will come on over.
She's going to come play a game with us.
Yes. Very excited about this game.
Getting my box to stand on. I am not very tall.
Clearly.
Okay.
But it's okay.
So thank you for coming on, Betsy.
Sure. Happy to be here.
So just a little history on Betsy here. She was a professional tennis player for 20 years and then became an AP reporter in 1991.
Yeah, we love having her on here. And so she knows, she's covered the Olympics before, correct?
Once.
So one time. Okay.
2012.
2012. So that's actually our inspiration for this game. Is we are playing a swipe it segment. You might recognize it from Tinder for you youngins, you college folks out there, like myself. So basically, we're going to list off some weird Olympic sports, and we're going to decide if we like them, if we think they should be a part of the Olympics, or if just get rid of them. Does that sound good?
Great.
Not all of these are Olympic sports still, but they were in the past. Just a little disclaimer for all of our viewers out there.
Absolutely.
Okay? So let's get started.
All right, you want to lead us off?
I do. Okay, so first one is Olympic speed walking, in an unprecedented attempt to get suburban moms involved in the Olympics. Speed walking has been a part of it since 1908. So, Betsy, what do you think? Love it? Why do you love it?
It's not as hard on your body as running.
Okay.
It's great exercise. They look very funny when they do it.
They do. They kind of like
Yeah.
wiggle their hips. You
Yeah.
can't really see me because I'm behind the
Get a
desk,
waddle
but their hips like waddle. Yeah, it's kind of like a penguin almost, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to have to agree with you there. I do like watching Olympic speed walking because the waddle's funny and they get so into it. And I feel like I could be an Olympic speed walker because of how quickly I walk in the mall.
I just want to know if somebody monitors that they stay walking and they don't start running.
I would break into a jog.
I looked up the rules. You have to have 2 feet on the ground at all times. Like when you're running, 1 foot is in the air. So you have to have 2 feet on the ground at all times.
I'm trying to figure out how that works. I don't know. It's almost
You
like
think
jumping.
it's kind of like a sliding effect?
I'll take it. I'll take it. It's okay. I'll take it. It's walking. I don't know. I feel like athletically, you're talking about some of the best athletes in the world.
Walking fast.
Walking fast.
Yes.
You know, I don't know. I'll take it. I'll live with it.
Okay.
So next we have curling. Now curling is essentially, this is a Winter Olympic sport, right? So you slide a stone, or your team slides a stone. You're trying to make it into a target, and these targets here actually, right? So trying to make it into a target, and then there's two people with a brush, and they're brushing in front of the stone to make it curve and slow down and speed up where it needs to go, right?
They're melting the ice so that the stone keeps going.
Okay, yeah. So there we go. So that's why we love having her on, because she knows more about Olympic
so
sports
much
than we do.
more than we know
Yeah.
about almost everything.
Yeah. So what do you think? She loves it. Have you ever curled before?
No, but I think it's such a finesse game. It's not like about power or anything like that. It's about trying to get that ice warmed up so that the stone keeps going. I think it's a very cool
It's
sport.
almost a little bit more mathematical than it is just pure athleticism almost, right? What do you think?
I don't like it because I hate all things cold, and just ice isn't good for me. I can't ice skate. I have to pull myself along the side, and I'm not very good at shuffleboard either. So that's, I guess, the summer equivalent. So I'm not the biggest fan. I'm gonna have to exit.
Yeah, I'm a fan because I think it takes more, I would argue it takes more athleticism than speed walking, just from the simple aspect of you have to maintain your balance while brushing on ice. I don't know. I couldn't do it. Yeah, kind of what you said. I have to hold on to the side to go. When ice skating. So I like it. I like the sport. It's fun to watch, actually.
Okay, and our next one is equestrian dressage. So one day, somebody decided that a dancing horse deserved a gold medal, and ever since then, equestrian dressage has become an Olympic sport. Now, it's technically defined as the highest expression of horse training. So I guess Mitt Romney, he would like it? I don't know.
I think he had a horse in it or something at one point in time.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I didn't know
I
that.
don't know. I think it's very much like a wealthier sport. I don't know. I don't know much about it.
What do you think? Love it or hate it?
Love it. I love horses, and
Yep.
the way you train a horse to do the things that they train them to do is remarkable to me. It's the communication between the rider and the horse. I think that's very cool.
I'm gonna have to agree with you there because I did rodeos when I was younger, and training your horse to do what you want it to do is very difficult. Horses are intelligent creatures, and trying to get them to do what you want takes a lot of time, a lot of effort.
So I used to barrel race when I was younger. Now
Did you?
a lot of people on the show, that's news to
That
them
is-
because I
yeah.
don't seem like the
I
most
wish I
country
would've known
person.
that.
But I have to, because of that reason, I have some bad memories, and therefore my correlation with horses there is a little negative. But I'm impressed that they dress up animals. I'm that person that doesn't like to dress up any of my animals. I have a dog. I tried to put a jersey on him one time. I don't know. I just didn't like it. So I have to X out the equestrian.
Personal
dressage.
bad experience.
Yeah, personal experience
Were you
keeps you
ever
from liking.
bucked off a horse or something? Or?
I was galloped off a horse.
Oh.
The horse galloped and I wasn't expecting it. Just kind of,
You gotta
went down.
gotta hold on.
Yeah.
It's a long ways down to the ground from up there.
It
is.
is, yeah. I had a short little horse. I had a little pony, but,
Okay.
not
What's
that I
our-
barrel raced with.
What's our next sport?
All right, so next we have solo synchronized swimming. You thought synchronized swimming was rough. Now we have solo synchronized swimming. So I don't know I guess you're synchronized with the music as how that would work, but you're not synchronized with anybody else. So Betsy, do you have an opinion on this?
I don't think swimming to music is a sport. I think having other people that you have to synchronize with, that's a sport.
Okay, yeah,
But
absolutely.
I'm a little dodgy on that too.
I agree.
It's like ballet in the water. Next thing you know, they'll have ballet in the Olympics.
I liken it to, when you're like taking a shower and you have music going, Like I listen to music in the shower.
Are you a shower dancer?
I'm a shower dancer. That's
Does
kind
that
of what
mean
I
you
like.
like it?
Oh yeah.
Let's hear your
Oh,
vote.
yeah, sorry, I'll go ahead and put up my heart. Oh yeah. 'Cause, yeah, I'm a shower dancer, so I'm putting my shampoo,
What an image that is. in
I'm
my
sorry.
mind.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Coming from a dance background, I definitely think that ballet should be in the Olympics. It's so hard. But also, I really have to appreciate how hard the swimming is in general. I can't even really doggy paddle. I tend to sink. Probably from the copious amounts of queso I eat, but I tend to sink when I go into water. So I really do have to appreciate anything in the water.
Must be all your muscles.
Little baby muscles. So our next sport we're going to talk about is the trampoline. So it's when it's a gymnastics kind of sport. Gymnasts will go and perform an acrobatic routine while on a trampoline. So
I'm gonna go both. Love
Both.
and
Oh,
hate.
I like it.
why both?
I think having a trampoline in the Olympics is better than having it in the backyard where little kids can get hurt. So
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the fence on this one.
Okay, that makes sense. I can kind of see where you're coming from. I'm gonna try to think. I guess I don't really like it as much because, you know, anybody can go to those trampoline parks and they can go do some flips and tricks. I don't feel like that's really showcasing what gymnasts can do because you see Simone Biles who can do all those crazy flips and tricks and everything while just on the floor.
She doesn't need a trampoline.
Exactly. So I feel like almost the trampoline is a cop-out.
Yeah, I like the trampoline because I personally am a little scared of heights. So when they get that high on the trampoline, I can respect that. Now that means I don't think skydiving should be an Olympic sport, but I think trampoline, because you have to come, I don't know. My thinking in my head works. Point is, I like trampoline. I can dig it. I had one when I was little, so
Okay.
you know, I relate to it
Next
a
sport.
little bit. Tug of war. Tug of war was featured in 5 Olympic Games starting in 1900. Teams had 5 minutes to pull their opponent 6 feet across a line. If no team was successful in doing so, the team who pulled the opponent the farthest won. Ooh, tug of war, almost like a little kid game. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
No?
No. Don't think so. No reason, just it doesn't
it's tug
take,
of war.
It's
Yeah.
all strength.
Yeah.
And
There's no finesse about it.
no finesse. No, it's all brute.
I'm gonna have to agree with you there because, you know, we played tug of war in elementary school. I don't think it really takes as much as you would think. Kind of agreed. No finesse about it.
I love tug of war. I love it. It's so much fun. That's probably a little kid in me coming out, but I love it. It's a great time. It's a great time.
Okay. The next one, we are going to be talking about club swinging. So I am not 100% sure about what club swinging is.
Oh, I actually know this one. I
What
know
is
this one.
club
So
swinging?
it's, because I looked it up, you know, because I didn't know what it was either, so I had to do research on it. So you know how like you have like the floor routines where they take the ribbons and the club swing is similar to that. Except you have clubs, and the clubs can't leave your hand, but you have to do different patterns with the clubs.
Okay.
You know, it was.
I wonder why they cut it out.
I don't know.
Probably because they X'd it too.
It might have been a little bit too.
I'm going to go
Neanderthal.
X.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I think we had
I mean,
X
all
across
right,
the board.
unanimous.
Give me a Olympic medal. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
It's a little too Neanderthal for me. You know, I don't know. I'm big on. I don't know. Too caveman. You know.
I completely agree.
Flintstones.
So what's our last weird Olympic sport?
Live pigeon shooting. Sorry, animal rights activists, but at the 1900 Olympic Games in London, over 300 pigeons were killed due to live pigeon shooting in the Olympics. The winner that year was Leigh de London, who took home the gold with 21 kills. Live pigeon kills. Betsy, how do you feel about this one?
PETA probably went crazy.
It's not even a decision. It's a humane feeling.
Yeah, I agree. And I say that actually as a hunter myself, but I don't. That's different. That's, you know, hunting can you can argue that it's for eating purposes. You know, there's other purposes out there. This is strictly for sport. Not big on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to exit as well. I'm gonna agree because what are they doing with all the dead pigeons? Do they just put them in a trash can somewhere, or does the winner take them home? Congrats, you won all your dead pigeons.
I am
If you didn't
curious-
shoot that many, you don't eat well.
I'm curious in 1900 how they found a way to get that many pigeons.
Yeah, what was
3,000 pigeons.
What was the technique for it?
Yeah.
Sitting with us here, we have Betsy Blaney again. Little history on her. For 20 years, she was a tennis pro, and then in 1991, she began her career as an AP reporter. So how did you transition from professional tennis player to becoming an AP reporter?
Well, I'd always known I wanted to be a journalist. I mean, when I was younger, I knew I wanted to play pro tennis, and I knew I wanted to be a journalist. I read newspapers voraciously and played lots of tennis, and I just got to the stage in tennis where I really didn't want to stand out on the tennis court and teach. This was after my playing career ended. So I went back and finished my college degree, and then my first job was in Louisville, Texas. And, you know, I chased tennis balls, and then I switched to chasing information. So, and the competitive aspect as an athlete came in handy, you know, when you're competing against, like when I was at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, we competed against the Morning News. So there were several facets of tennis that blended pretty well into journalism.
Yeah, that's actually a good segue into my question, which was the transition between being an athlete and being a journalist. Was it a weird feeling being on one side, where you have the media talking to you, and to then going into being a journalist? And do you see differences in the way that you now cover sports, maybe from when they were covered when you were an athlete?
Well, it's all over everywhere, sports now, and it didn't used to be that way. I started playing professionally about 8 years after the Women's Tennis Association was formed. Billie Jean King and all these women signed contracts for $1 to play on the Pro Tour. And they didn't get a lot of PR at first. And I just think that, the advent of big TVs and big crowds, sports is really big now. And I don't really think about that much. I got interviewed maybe 2 or 3 times when I was playing on the tour. I wasn't up there in the upper echelon of players, but nonetheless, I'm glad I don't have to look back now and say, why didn't I try it? So that's good.
Absolutely.
So going in, you reported for the AP, correct? For the
Not right out at the Olympics?
Yeah, for the 2012 Olympics. What was that like? What was your typical day like as an Olympic reporter?
They were all long.
Long?
Yeah, and stressful. I'd get up at like 7:30, grab breakfast at the hotel, take the underground to Earl's Court, which is where the men and women played their indoor volleyball, and that's predominantly what I covered. But I wouldn't leave to go back to the hotel till 11 or 12 o'clock at night, so by the time I got back to the hotel and had maybe a little bite to eat or a glass of wine and got to bed, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd have to be back up at 7. It was exhilarating, and it was great to be around other AP colleagues who I only talked to on, email or instant messenger. Hadn't met so many of them, so it was a great opportunity to meet them and learn from them as well.
Yeah, so you work for AP. Now, out here in Lubbock, what do you cover? Because you're in Lubbock, and a lot of people think of Lubbock as the middle of nowhere. Now, those of us that reside in Lubbock know that Lubbock has its charm to it, which is why we're here and why we love it. But do you cover all of West Texas, Lubbock? What is your area?
I do. I cover 65 counties in West Texas, which area-wise is a quarter of the state of Texas. And I do that by myself.
Wow.
And we used to have a correspondent out in El Paso, but he sadly passed away a couple years ago, so we have nobody out there. So if something were to happen big out there, they might send me out to there. I cover Texas Tech football and basketball. I cover Lady Raider basketball when they're ranked or when a ranked team comes to town. And yes, it might be the middle of nowhere, but lots of things happen in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
We have a nuclear waste dump site in Andrews. We have Pantex's nuclear plant up in Amarillo. We have the biggest cotton patch in the world, contiguous cotton patch in the world out here. And to be honest with you, when I came out here, I told them, a year and a half, please don't let me die out here. And after a year, I called back and said, can I stay as long as I want to? And that was 15 and a half years ago.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
I've been
awesome.
out here a long time.
Yeah.
So is there something significant you've covered being out here in your 15 years that's really stood out to you?
Yeah, a few stories. Back in 2003, there was an infectious diseases doctor who reported 30 vials of plague bacteria missing from his laboratory. So this is 2 years after 9/11. And bubonic plague is missing from Texas Tech University. It was a huge story. It was an international story. And, he faced a federal criminal trial, and he was found guilty on a few charges, nothing major. But as it turned out, I believe this is right, that he was mad with the administration, and he probably destroyed the vials, but he couldn't find them, so he reported them missing. And the FBI descended onto the city. It was pretty crazy. And the university at that time, they took way too long getting out a statement, like 8 or 9 hours.
Wow.
I'm like, hello, these are plague vials.
The plague's going around.
Yeah,
That's going to be a big problem.
big problem. So
Now as you mentioned, I
Wow.
got a little cold last week, so
Yeah.
check those.
Stay away
those
from me.
vials
Give me
again.
some Lysol.
Yeah,
And then there was a story, I don't know if you all know the name, but Ryan Leigh. He was
Yeah.
at one time called the biggest NFL bust in history.
Yeah, yeah.
A few people have maybe usurped that position. It might be Johnny Manziel now.
Yeah, you could certainly put his name up there.
But Ryan Leaf had come to West Texas A&M to be the quarterback's coach. And apparently he hurt something and he took some painkillers. And then he took some more painkillers. And then he started getting prescriptions from myriad doctors in the area. And he finally got caught when he broke into one of his players' houses
Wow.
and stole painkillers from his medicine cabinet, and he was arrested and charged. He got 10 years probation, and at his pleading, I talked to him about doing a big story on him, and that eventually came to happen. They gave me about 4 months to work on it, and I talked to his parents, I talked to him, I talked to former colleagues in
Wow.
coaching, and you know, sometimes as a journalist you get feedback that's great, and sometimes you don't. And his mother called me the day after it went out, and she goes, "I wish I was calling to say thank you, but that's the worst story you've ever done on my son." And she told her son what she had done, and he said, "You call her back tomorrow and tell her that that's the best story I've ever read about myself."
Yeah.
That's
So,
good that he
yeah.
wanted the truth out and
Yeah.
appreciated the work that
Yeah.
you put into it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Moms, yeah, you know, my mom, she's kind of like that too. She's probably watching, like she'll watch this, you know. Love you, Mom, but you know, she'll like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I really want to talk about your professional tennis
Absolutely.
career, though, because you had quite the career.
It was short, but it was sweet. I guess it was in 1978. I'd earned the #1 ranking in women's open singles in Texas.
Wow.
And I said to myself, this is a pretty big pond. Do you want to go and jump into a bigger pond? And I thought, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. And I was pretty old at the time. I think I was 26 when I started, which is old for somebody starting out on the pro tour. And I played for a couple years. You know, I got to play at Wimbledon and the US Open, both of which were childhood dreams. And then in 1981, my doubles partner and I won the Swedish Open in doubles.
And who were you playing?
Who was I playing with or against?
Against.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
Now you beat Billie Jean King Billie Jean King in a doubles match.
No, did not beat her. We got soundly thumped.
Oh,
we played against
okay.
her.
Okay.
I don't think that says that in the story, does it?
No.
Might not.
yeah,
that was my bad. I apologize.
That's
I
okay.
apologize. But you do have history with Billie Jean King in a
Right.
Battle of the Sexes famous tennis match between her.
Do you want to talk about
Yeah.
that?
Sure. Like when I was growing up, Billie Jean and the Virginia Slims tour came to Milwaukee, so I was a ball girl for her in the 60s. And then I lucked into being able to call lines on that very famous match down in the Houston Astrodome. It's still the largest crowd in the United States ever to watch
Wow.
a match live.
Wow.
And 90 million people worldwide were
And
watching.
you were
Wow.
helping call that.
Yeah, I had to sit on my hands some because I really wanted Billie Jean.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah, and I'd never called lines before.
Oh my goodness.
But I'd play long enough, so. And then after that, when I started playing, then I drew to play her in doubles.
And you got to talk to her about the controversial
Well, right.
call. And
Right. So when I became a journalist, you know, people at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram said, "Why don't you write a first-person piece?" So I did that for the 25th anniversary, and they sent me down to Houston, and we sat in the Astrodome, and we talked about the match, and I told her how she had unloaded on me for allegedly making a bad call. But it wasn't a bad call. I didn't make a call because I didn't see the ball bounce. And I did what you're supposed to do, which is cover your eyes, and then the chair umpire is supposed to see you cover your eyes and make the call. Well, nothing happened like that. And she came back around after the point was over and said, "That ball was out, goddammit."
Yeah.
wow.
And so I confronted her with that 25 years later, and she
Wow.
That would have. I don't know how I would have handled that. I don't think I could have handled
She
that.
said I should have spoken up for myself. And I'm like, yeah, right. In front of 90 million people on TV, I'm going to
the
get out
most
there and
Excuse
say,
me.
famous
Excuse
woman-
me. I didn't see that.
I
one?
didn't see that.
To the most
Yeah.
famous woman tennis player and possibly athlete of all time. Oh man. Yeah.
Serena would take
Yeah.
umbrage with that.
She probably would.
Yeah,
you know,
she
this is a
prob-
debate. That might be a
yeah.
good debate topic. one day.
Yeah.
I think so. I really hate to cut this interview off, but I
Yeah.
think that's all the time we have
Well,
today.
I enjoyed it very much. Thank you
Thank
for
you so
having
much
me.
for coming on here and really sharing your knowledge on reporting and the Olympics and your knowledge on professional tennis.
Thank
For
you.
sure. Is there anywhere, where can people find your content, your stories, your Video Associated Press? Do they go through the app? How does that work?
The mobile app is really a great app. I
Okay.
would suggest that people download it. But you know, if you go to Google News and type my name in, you'll get some results.
For sure. Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you so much for
You're
doing
welcome,
this interview
Spencer.
with us.
Thanks for coming.
Go Google Betsy Blaney's name and go check out some of her content. She's incredible. I wish we could had more time to tell her entire story here, but I mean, it's some of the most interesting stuff I've ever read. But that's all we have for time. As always, thank you, Betsy, Leigh, for co-hosting. It's been a great show, and this is Raider Report.